Regret is probably the norm. I harbored a secret crush on him for 12 years, ostensibly as a friend. For 12 years, I watched him flit between different girls, my heart initially pounding, then growing numb. I stumbled and struggled, performing a terrible one-man show all by myself. Only today did I realize it was time to take my final bow. At the wedding, the MC asked, "For better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, do you take this woman to be your husband?" I stared at him on the stage, momentarily lost in thought. Ethan and I weren't exactly childhood sweethearts in the traditional sense. We went to the same middle school but never spoke. Yet, I remembered his name early on, not because it sounded nice, but because he was always near the bottom of the class, making him stand out. At the time, I didn't know that this name would haunt my entire youth. We only truly crossed paths after being assigned to the same class in high school. I, with my poor grades and low profile, and him, who smoked, drank, and was cynical, ended up sitting next to each other by a twist of fate. The fluttering of youth is always cheap yet deadly, a glance, a helping hand, and it's enough to make someone fall head over heels. The real beginning came during an after-school tutoring session. I lost my math test, and the teacher was walking towards me. At that moment, a hastily written test was shoved in front of me. I looked up and saw him grinning broadly. He was kicked out of the classroom, and my heart raced uncontrollably all night. Later, we became close. He laughed at my obliviousness, but I secretly rejoiced. He never noticed my feelings. In college, we went to the same school. I naively thought that after 4 years, it would be my turn, but all I got was his countless girlfriends. Ethan was popular. He was a good conversationalist, handsome, and never lacked admirers. Friends said he was impeccable as a friend, but as a lover, no one could truly hold on to him, so I kept to my boundaries, never crossing them. When his new girlfriend appeared, I stood in the crowd, joining in the cheers, my smile both respectable and insincere. When he was drunk, he would always call me silent. I never asked. We just stayed connected in silence. I knew long ago that he wasn't as warm-hearted as he seemed. He was weary of crowds, weary of relationships. He was just too good at pretending, and I could tell because I'd learned to read people since I was little. I truly saw him on New Year's Eve of my senior year of high school. School didn't have a holiday, and the classrooms were bustling with people eating their New Year's Eve dinner. Only his seat was empty. I found him on the back playground. The wind was cold, and he sat motionless. I handed him his lunchbox. He hesitated for a moment, then burst into uncontrollable laughter. That night, we ate the entire New Year's Eve dinner in the cold wind, watching the scattered fireworks in the distance. That was the closest we'd ever been to each other. Later, he told me that his parents divorced when he was 3, and he'd been passed around between different families. He spoke softly, as if telling someone else's story. I said, "I'm 6. His gaze was so tender it almost made me lose control. We went around in circles like this for over a decade. He told me he was getting married one winter night, drunk. That was the first time he'd spoken on the phone. In the end, I hung up. On the wedding day, I didn't clap. I silently cursed under my breath. He was dressed smartly, bringing me a toast. He asked when I would settle down. I said I didn't know. Maybe I'd have to leave this city.